started 19 years ago in 2001. So before people said green fashion, sustainable fashion, all that sort of thing. And I kind of just started making things from what I had, and it kind of happened by accident, but my sister was in interior design school and handed me, like, she knew I liked to sew, so she gave me all these old samples of these gorgeous fabrics. Every single one was gorgeous, and I was like, what can I do with these little bits? So I started piecing them together, and I was always like a collage artist, mixed media artist, and that sort of thing, so I was just playing pattern play and trims and that sort of thing. So I made a handful, and I gave one to my friend for her birthday, and then her friends wanted them, so I said, I'll make some and come over for coffee. And I made like 13 bags and went to coffee, and I sold them all, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So I started making more, and then my husband was a professional snowboarder, so I was traveling with him to different competitions, so we would go to little towns, ski towns, but I would always find the coolest boutique and walk in and say, do you like my stuff? Do you want to sell my bags? And so I started selling to a little bit like that, and things went up and down for me. I kind of like did a lot, and then I pulled back when I had my kids, and then anyway, in the past few years I've evolved into doing all the recycled, repurposed leather, and so sourcing recycled leather bits from other productions, sourcing old leather jackets to deconstruct and repurpose into bags, and all these motifs were kind of born out of what do I do with all these little bits. So it just became these motifs that I couldn't stop making, and people were responding to. My hands down love is playing color. It's just putting colors together, and so that's why I love the marbling as well, because I'm always layering all my paints, and it's just something that I just love to do, is just playing colors off of colors, and that's why I do like the rainbows. I do the rainbows, but they're not rainbow colors, so it's just the pops and the metallics or the neutrals, and so it still reads obviously as an obvious rainbow, but it's just got a different thing about it that people are drawn to. I make everything in my studio, in Tahoe. And I hand pick all the vintage leathers because I'm really particular about the feel and the weight and everything about that. I hand make everything. Like right now I just stepped it up quite a bit. Retailer wise, I have like 70 retailers now, which maybe a year ago I had like 4. So I just did a couple shows, and then I was just getting a really great response, and so I'm just figuring out how to deal with that. And like I said, I have been doing this for 19 years, and I had the rep in New York, and I had like orders with Urban Outfitters and Nordstrom and things like that when my aesthetic and my pieces were a little different, still sustainable but different, and that was kind of fun, but at the same time it wasn't feeding my soul to do those big giant repetitious things. So I'm kind of happy where I'm at right now with like having a lot of small cool boutiques carrying my line, and then just every once in a while trying to add new motifs and different techniques, like the patchwork. All that patchwork is newer to my collection, and I collaborate with my dad with the wooden pieces that go on there, and so I'm really trying to like go in that direction, be more artful, maybe do more like installation pieces, collaborations with other artists and designers and companies and all of that stuff. I'm just all like in that right now, just trying to manifest all these different bits and pieces to go to a whole different place, basically. I remember in high school a long time ago, I was doing like mixed media pieces to like promote recycling and reuse, and I grew up in Vermont, and people are definitely more in tune to the environment and that sort of thing, and clean water and all this, but I always want the awareness of a sustainable piece of clothing or accessory. When someone buys it, I want them to know it, and I want them to be like proud of that, and I want them to also think about all the other aspects of their life, whether they're eating more organically or like not using toxic products in their home or on their body, and all of those things. Like, it's a lifestyle.